It all began when I was writing about a girl or a child who, in some foreign European city, she was seducing elderly men at libraries and swimming pools and parks in this huge city. And if you're writing about the sexual child or the sexualized child, you might say, you will eventually run into Nabokov's Lolita, because Lolita is a character that eventually became a phenomenon. If I say Lolita, you will have a whole bunch of images in your head of the little dress, the heart-shaped sunglasses, the lollipop. And since Lolita is a dream and a projection of somebody else's desire, I felt the need to make a few variations. There isn't one child like that, it's only different dreams around her, creating her. So, and the heart of this book is the story about Lou, the one who's driving with her father during the nights in his Jaguar, meeting her lovers, that she calls her brothers, by Darling River. And I had to see her from different angles, I think. And when I read Lolita for the first time while writing this book, I felt the need to, because one of the stories is the end of Nabokov's novel Lolita. It's Dolores, or Lolita's, last 3 months in life on her way to Alaska before she dies in childbirth, which you know only from the foreword, I think, in the novel Lolita. And the second story has also something to do with Nabokov. It's about a monkey in Jardin des Plantes, which was one of Nabokov's lies when the journalists tried to, they wanted to force him to tell the audience why he wanted to write about the male desire for the child, if he was a pedophile himself. Then he invented this story about a monkey, that he was feeling bad in bed in Paris once, and that he read this article about a scientist in Jardin des Plantes who convinced a monkey to draw a simple drawing. And I was interested in that lie concerning the origin of the original Lolita. I don't know why. It's true that I've been interested in the destiny of women in this world, and I don't know why, because that isn't something that I decide before I write a book. It just happens to me. So I have no good answer to that. To me, they are characters. They are female characters, but they are also characters of the world. As she's a mother, but she's also a parent who left her child, and the daughter is also a child. So no, I have no good response. Maybe because femininity can be a very dangerous fate in this world, according to the motto that all beauty must die. But femininity might be a subversive act too. Dangerous and subversive at the same time. Maybe I'm interested in that mix of subversity and danger. I think, yeah, you call it contrasts. That's a good word. I'm thinking about it often as paradoxes. In La Faculté des Rêves, Valerie Solanas, she embodied many paradoxes. She was the intellectual whore. She was the feminist without any connection to the women's movement. She was the pacifist who tried to kill somebody. And maybe it's because literature can be in the middle of the very fine line between two ideas. In literature you can be intellectual and a whore at the same time, and I think that our common language separates the ideas of language separates persons, ideas, places in different spots, and they are not allowed to be two things at one time. And I think in literature you can melt all that down to one person, or to me it's a truer image of the world, I think. If one person can embody contrasts or paradoxes or light and darkness and the shadow and the sun at the same time. That's what a human being is, I suppose. Yeah, what could I tell you? It's like you said, it's 4 variations of the same destiny. It's one of the stories is this mother circling around the world. She left her child behind her and her husband, and her child could be one of the other variations called Lou, the one traveling during the nights with her father to Darling River to meet her elderly lovers. But she can also be an anonymous mother. She could be anyone's mother. She could be my mother or your mother. And I wanted to write a story about a person, because I had the feeling when I was writing this book that every novel is like a coffin. And I think that in Nabokov's Lolita you have like 40 dead bodies, and I don't know how many dead bodies I have in my book, but I have the feeling that every novel is a kind of coffin, and that you as a writer are destroying your characters while describing them. There's a question in this book which is, I would like to describe her without destroying her, and this is what my writing is about, I think. And I wanted this mother to circle outside the book almost, to be free. She's moving outside this coffin. She's learning how to fly. She's demonstrating with other women. She's a little bit the history from the 19th century of the women's emancipation. And then we have this story about this monkey that I mentioned in Jardin des Plantes, which was originally the lie that Nabokov presented. And I was interested in filling up this story. It's a story about a scientist and a monkey. And they spend 1 year together in Jardin des Plantes, where he's convincing or forcing her to draw. And that story might be about a parent and a child, or a person who loves somebody. It's, you know, since we have our desire, we can never see the object for our desire. It's like a blind spot to us. And in their relationship, the scientist and the monkey, it's about that very fine line between love, care, education and violence, which is basically a picture of every human relation, I think, where your desire is, all you have is your desire or your idea or your wanting about this other creature. We don't know anything about the creature, this monkey in this case.